Congressman Castro of Texas, member of the House Intelligence Committee. By the way, Congressman, I want everyone to know you were just briefed by the CIA director about the very latest on what the president actually may have told Ambassador Kislyak and Foreign Minister Lavrov from Russia about information that was not authorized to be shared. But I want to start with this breaking news right now and the memo that Jim Comey says he has. What's your response to this? The White House says it didn't happen. Jim Comey says it did.
Well, first of all, it's deeply troubling. And if the reports are true, then the American public really demands that we've had enough talk. We need to take action. I would say that we should give James Comey 72 hours to produce those memos, or the FBI 72 hours to produce the memos. If they aren't produced, they should be subpoenaed. By the same token, we should give the White House 72 hours to produce those tapes if they exist, and if those aren't produced, then they should be subpoenaed.
So what is the holdup as far as you understand it on these sorts of subpoenas, right? We're hearing, obviously, Republicans agree with you on the memo, perhaps not so much on the tapes.
I think that all of this is still being sorted out. Remember, the House of Representatives, unlike the Senate, was not in session last week, so this is our first day back. Yep. But now that we are back in session, we need to take action.
Now, when the president fired Comey, you said, Congressman, that it would be an impeachable act if he fired Comey to effect the Russia investigation, right? If he did so for that motive. Okay. If Comey's memo is accurate, what we are hearing now about the president saying, give Flynn a break, stop looking at Flynn, does that meet your bar for impeachment proceedings?
Again, those reports have to be verified. We have to make sure that it's true. This is a deliberative body. This country has only gone down that road twice. But yes, if it in fact is true, then yes, that is an impeachable offense.
So I'm just trying to understand, because I know obviously you have a lot of discretion in Congress, right? If it is true, has a lot of latitude, right? It's not beyond a reasonable doubt, right? We may get those memos and you may see them and they may say exactly what we, the New York Times and others are reporting that they say. It is still then Jim Comey's word against that of Donald Trump's. Is that enough for you to know that it happened the way Jim Comey said?
Well, a few things. First of all, these memos made by FBI agents and officers are routinely admissible in court. Yep. And remember, and again, I don't want to get ahead of myself. It's got to be a deliberative process. But just as a matter of fact, the impeachment process is also a debate. There is a debate over that. So that is when you would get into the back and forth, perhaps, of what's true and what's not.
Now, you were also just I believe in the past few moments, you finished your briefing by the CIA Director Mike Pompeo. I know a lot of questions about exactly what the president told the Russian ambassador, Russian foreign minister. One, of course, is believed to be a top spy and spy recruiter for Russia in the United States. What did you learn from Director Pompeo?
Well, you know, of course, I can't divulge exactly what the director said, but needless to say, everybody in that room, it was my sense, was very troubled by the president's behavior that he seemed to confirm on Twitter in basically giving up this highly classified information that has the potential to basically endanger the lives of some of our allies and sources, and also endanger national security.
So the president's national security advisor, as you know, Congressman, came out today, last night, obviously, with a statement. I think he has realized he should have done more, and he did today. He calls this a wholly appropriate conversation, the conversation that happened between the president and the Russians in the Oval Office. After the briefing you just had with the CIA director, do you still doubt McMaster, or do you think it is possible that the conversation was appropriate?
Well, if by appropriate he means legal, then yes, the president has the broad ability to declassify information and to share information. That doesn't mean that it wasn't reckless. It was very reckless to share that information with the Russians. First of all, to have them in the Oval Office after they interfered with our democratic processes, but then to share such highly sensitive information that may have come from allies. That was completely reckless, and it makes me wonder whether he's done it before and whether he intends to do that again.
Did you get the feeling from the CIA director's testimony that the president had any idea that he was sharing information that was top secret, that had not been agreed to be shared by the third party at this time, or did the president know that and do it anyway?
I think that's a good question, and quite honestly, it's very hard for me to discern that. My inclination is to say that Perhaps he didn't know what he was doing. But either way, the damage is done.
So your Senate Intel colleague, Jim Risch, just moments ago, I don't know if you know this, but he said something I wanted to get your reaction to. He says the traitor is not Trump for sharing classified information with an adversary. He says it's the person who told the Washington Post about it. Here he is.
It was not the President of the United States that caused this. It was some traitor who's in the chain of command below the President who actually discloses.
What is your response to that? The traitor is the person who leaked to the newspapers, not the President who leaked or shared the information with the Russians.
I strongly disagree. I think the problem is the President sharing this very classified information with Russian officials. And also, the Senator's words speak to a real problem around here, which is that people keep putting party above country. And at some point, this body and the Senate are going to have to put country above party. And it feels like perhaps we're turning a corner where that's actually going to happen.